right now on 12 News at 10.
And new criticism after the arrest of a suspect accused of killing a Tucson police recruit. Why a union president says department leaders botched the investigation.
I'm Chase Golightly in Prescott, where a neighboring mayor was just cited for an altercation at this bar. What we know coming up.
Heat is the big story of the week. I'm tracking our extreme heat warning and possible records for the rest of the week.
12 News at 10 starts now.
And we begin tonight with breaking news. A 15-year-old girl has died after being hit by a car in Phoenix. Officers say that it happened at an apartment complex near 19th Avenue in Thunderbird. The girl was walking across a driveway entrance when she was hit by a car. The driver did stay on the scene. We're told that impairment is not believed to be a factor. Phoenix police did not identify the girl tonight. We are working to learn more about if the driver will be facing any charges. So stay with 12 News for more updates.
24 hours after a murder suspect was taken into custody, new questions are now being raised about whether the Pima County Sheriff's Department could have taken Alex Barnett into custody much earlier. Thanks for joining us tonight for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kadiba Devine. A union representing some Pima County deputies claims that detectives actually located Barnett days before his arrest. 12 News journalist Tiani Jadaling is joining us live in studio, and she spoke with both the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the deputies organization. Tiani?
Bay Mark, the Pima County Deputies organization claims detectives located Alex Barnett last Thursday. The union says detectives requested to contain him, but that request was denied. It all dates back to August 19th. That's when investigators say 23-year-old Tucson police recruit Carlos Ramirez was shot and killed and his fiancée injured. Investigators say it happened during a home invasion in Tucson. With the help of surveillance video, investigators identified two suspects, 39-year-old Santiago Rogers and 33-year-old Alex Barnett. The day after the shooting, several phones across the state received this blue alert for Barnett. Soon after, the Pima Regional SWAT team and PCSD executed a first-degree murder arrest warrant at a hotel, where Rogers was taken into custody. Then Monday, after an hours-long standoff, Barnett was arrested at an apartment complex near East Broadway Boulevard and South Camino Seco. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos says the two suspects were caught with the help from the FBI, Tucson Police, the SWAT team, and other agencies.
All of these teams worked with us tirelessly, pretty much endlessly, throughout every hour of the day for the last 5 days to track down these two monsters.
But the Pima County Deputies organization claims detectives had located Barnett days earlier and requested to contain him, but that request was denied. Aaron Cross is the president of the union, which represents employees within the Sheriff's Department. When I asked why they believe the request was denied, he said this.
It defies explanation. I've heard a few explanations. One was that they wanted to wait for air. Another one was that they wanted to wait for the arrest warrant to already be in hand for some strange reason. Again, none of that was necessary. They had him in the home. They positively identified him. They had probable cause. And if they kept him contained, they would have been able to bring the SWAT team over and get that warrant and then get him in custody.
12 News asked Sheriff Nanos about those claims. This was his response.
I wish that they would just keep quiet, let the investigators, the detectives, who, oh, by the way, they praise, do their job, and let the facts speak for themselves. It is what it is.
Cross says this isn't the first time he's questioned a decision like this and calls Barnett's eventual arrest fortunate.
This decision, as I mentioned previously, endangered the public unnecessarily by allowing this person to roam the streets additional days. And again, we just got lucky to get him last night.
Now, a third suspect in this case has also been located by the Pima County Sheriff's Department. That person has not been arrested. Live in studio, I'm Tiani Jadaling, 12 News.
Tiani, thanks. New tonight, we're learning more about the mayor of Prescott Valley being cited for disorderly conduct after police say he got into an altercation with someone at a Prescott bar.
12 News journalist Chase Golightly is diving into a newly released police report detailing what happened that night.
According to the police report, the man is a frequent critic of the mayor, posting negative comments on the mayor's Facebook page. But what reportedly happened here at the birdcage was the first time they met. It was described by witnesses as two old people playing tug-of-war with a chair that ended with the mayor of Prescott Valley getting cited for disorderly conduct. According to the investigation report by Prescott Police, a 67-year-old man and his wife were sitting at the birdcage's bar on August 16th. When the man went to the bathroom, security camera footage reportedly shows 46-year-old Mayor Kel Palguda take a seat next to the wife, and while she was looking away, he started taking photos of her. She noticed, then put her hand up to block the mayor's camera when the two started arguing. She reportedly yelled at him multiple times that he was in her husband's seat, the bartender telling police it seemed like she was the main aggressor. Then when the husband came back from the bathroom, he claimed Palguda called his wife bad names. The mayor claims the man called him a bad name. Then they started arguing, to the point where a witness said the two started fighting over the chair, describing it as a tug-of-war, with both of them pulling on it. The report says Palguda then grabbed the man and attempted to put his arms behind his back, leading to a bartender and another customer getting involved to break up the altercation. When police asked the bartender if this was typical bar drama, he said not even. It was two old people. There was two guys pulling a chair from each other. The next day, the man called police telling them he was assaulted at the bar. In the mayor's interview with police, he said there was a disagreement and some words were exchanged. He has since been cited for disorderly conduct, knowingly touching to provoke, and intentionally placing a person in fear of imminent injury. Now, I did reach out to the mayor for comment, but I haven't heard back at this time. However, shortly after the incident, he did make a post on his Facebook page acknowledging the situation, saying he's not going to talk about it at this time, but will at a later date. He said that he will still continue doing his job as mayor. We're in Prescott. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, don't steal any bar stools. Now to Decision 2026. Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs and Republican Congressman Andy Biggs sparred tonight over who would do a better job of supporting public safety.
But the candidates for governor weren't debating each other. 12 News journalist Bram Resnick was at tonight's Public Safety Policy Forum and tells us that this was the closest thing that we'll get to a debate. Bram?
It did get pretty close. The two candidates for governor were asked the same 6 public safety related questions that were scripted for moderator Mike Broomhead of KTAR Radio. At stake for the candidates, potential endorsements from members of public safety organizations in the room. Hobbs answered her 6 questions, and then she went off script. Things took a turn when Governor Hobbs raised an issue she was not asked about. The Hobbs campaign has claimed that Biggs supported the January 6th rioters who tried to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. Many were sentenced to jail, but President Donald Trump issued unconditional pardons to anyone convicted in the attack on the Capitol, including those who had assaulted police officers. Here's Hobbs' statement, and then Biggs' heated response to reporters after the forum.
He voted against giving congressional gold medals to the officers who protected the Capitol. And he called for pardoning of the January 6th defendants and called them J6 political prisoners. And when those pardons were issued and those folks were being released, he went to the DC jail and stood with supporters when those folks were being released.
What she said is that I stood outside a DC jail to greet J6ers who'd received a pardon. That's what she said. That is an absolute lie. It is a fabrication. It's about as nutty as I've heard from her this campaign.
Did you
No.
support the January 6th protesters?
No.
You did not?
No.
Did you support the pardon the president gave them?
I never made comment on the pardon. Some of them deserved it, some of them didn't. But that was his decision to make, not mine.
I should note that a report by our NBC affiliate did say that Andy Biggs was outside the DC jail after the pardons were issued, waiting for the inmates to be released. Now, Biggs entered the forum trailing in about a half dozen polls, one of them by 15 points. His campaign has struggled to raise money to get ads up on TV. The Hobbs campaign, meanwhile, has been airing TV ads since June. And you can see the full video of the forum as well as the gaggle with reporters on 12news.com or the 12 News YouTube channel. Bram Resnick, 12 News.
All right, Bram, thank you. Well, the Valley saw some record-breaking temperatures today as an extreme heat warning is set to continue now for the rest of the week. Meteorologist Lindsay Riley is joining us now. And Lindsay, will tomorrow be just as hot?
It is, yeah. We hit 115 today. That broke a record high. Previous record was 113 set back in 2011. And we're going to hit 115 again tomorrow and do it again on Thursday. However, by Thursday, we're going to be setting another record high. Tomorrow, 2 degrees shy. Record is 117. Right now, as of 10:11, we're sitting at 104. Winds are out of the west at 8 miles per hour. Dew point 51. So we're dealing with moderate mugginess out there. And then here's the extreme heat warning. It encompasses a good chunk of Arizona through Saturday. So we have 4 more days to go of the extreme heat. Hour by hour tomorrow. We start off at 6 a.m. right around 90 degrees, but watch how quickly we're going to warm up. By 9 a.m., it's already 99. We'll continue climbing from there. 108 by the time we hit noon, and then the hottest part of the day, 3 to 5 p.m. And that's when we'll reach 115, which will be 2 degrees shy of a record. Now, the high country, 80s tomorrow and 70s with rising storm chances for this weekend. We're in weather impact alert mode through Saturday for the extreme heat, but I'm tracking rising storm chances in the extended outlook. Mark?
All right, Linz, thanks. The city of Flagstaff has agreed to settle 2 major lawsuits claiming that they allowed an officer with known medical issues to return to the force, leading to a deadly crash. It started with this crash in June of 24. A Flagstaff patrol car crashed into the back of a car stopped at Route 66 and 4th Street. The driver, Dustin Royal, survived. He filed a federal lawsuit claiming Flagstaff police officer Jacob Buchwald suffered frequent seizures that contributed to the crash. The department cleared Buchwald to return to duty in December of 24. 3 weeks later, he hit and killed Hassan Ibrahim while driving another police vehicle. Ibrahim's family filed a lawsuit. The city agreed to settle both suits today for an undisclosed amount.
Do you think when a settlement happens like this, there is that level of accountability, or because of what you mentioned, they get to sort of escape that?
I don't really consider it escaping anything. I would just say that all sides were able to come to a resolution, and each side was able to live with the resolution.
After the second crash, Buchwald resigned from the force for medical reasons. Flagstaff city manager and city attorney declined to comment. Flagstaff police chief Sean Connolly was out of town and couldn't be reached for comment.
Still ahead, tributes continue tonight for legendary country music star Dolly Parton. We remember her life and legacy.
And in sports, walk-off Waldy saves the day. Cam has the highlights from an electric ending at Chase Field. And at 10:14, let's give you a live look over downtown Phoenix. Stay right here. 12 News at 10 is coming right back.